All right, so our last one, and I think you guys have kind of touched on this a little bit. It's what are some of the best practices for second language writers of English to keep in mind as they are translating into and from English? So Abby, let's start with you.
The best things to keep in mind. Well, stay away from word for word. Before and after, try to do a maximum amount of reading so that you are immersed in the correct way to express the language. If you're writing an original piece, it's one thing. If you're doing a translation of something, read literature about the topic. If it's your own work, if it's something and you have a tendency to think in your native tongue and you're writing in another language, I would say, if at all possible, have someone who is a native speaker read the text to see if it makes sense. Because sometimes it really makes a lot of sense to you, but when you're not versed in both languages, the other person goes, "What?" So you have to be careful.
I have found that just thinking in English and writing in English, sometimes it doesn't make sense. I still need someone else to read it, so.
Yeah, peer editing is one of the best tools, yeah.
And Svetla, how about you? Any good advice?
So, I actually have 7 pieces of advice I would like to give out. I can share, obviously, just advice. One of which is actually more for oral translation, so not explicitly written. But number 1, I agree with Abby. Reading is very important to enrich one's language, right? Now, but read in all languages, including your own, your native language. You cannot have a rich foreign language if you have a poor native language, simply because you do not have enough words to understand and to comprehend the words in the other language. So read in all languages that you can, in order to understand the meanings and subtleties of a language. Number 2, learn jokes and humor in the target language, right? This will help you understand the meaning and the soul of a language. And this will also help you learn a lot of collocations and phrases, right? Number 3, and this is a little bit for the oral translators out there, make sure your pronunciation is good and clear, right? This will make a big difference in meaning. For example, the word chrétien is Christian in English. And if you deviate a little bit and say crétin, means an idiot. So chrétien, crétin. So you can start a war if you do not have the right pronunciation, right? Now, number 4, do not always be literal. Again, we translate the meaning of the words, not the word per se, which is our human advantage over mechanical translators. Number 5, do not Google everything. You can find everything on the internet, including mistakes. Use paper dictionaries whenever possible, as they're more reliable. Number 6, aim for clarity. Being clear is more important than using fancy words. So once your sentence is translated, ask yourself whether anybody can misconstrue, misunderstand what it says. Okay, if it's not clear, then you have to reword it to make it clear. And ask yourself, does my sentence make sense? So grammar and style are not enough, but the sentence must also be logical in the ideas that it is trying to transmit. And number 7, which is very important, create beauty, right? When you translate, a language is not just structure; it's also beauty. So if people want to reread your sentence, make sure that they want to reread it in order to admire its beauty, not in order to understand its meaning.
That's some excellent advice.